You know, you've told me like certain things in life to just be aware of. And there were times where I questioned whether you were right or not.
I'm always right.
And when well, almost, not every time, but a lot of the time, Jen is right. And surprisingly right, like in a very substantive way, where you say that this is how it's going to go down.
This is how it's going to go down.
We need to have a pact specifically tailored towards free Palestine, because the other side is going to be pro-Israel. And no one was thinking of doing such a thing. And now people are thinking, well, what can we do to make it better? And so this in itself becomes a substantially large story, because it's a systemic corruption that we've seen. And now, even if you didn't necessarily know that this is what was happening, you can look back on some of the names and you will say, oh yeah, I remember when they switched. Clearly, that's when they started getting that money, because there is no other explanation. Some of them were on the take from the very beginning.
I don't even think that you can necessarily tell when people switch, because a lot of the people that they go to are people that are already like sycophants anyway. You know, they go to simps anyway. And so it isn't like they go to someone who's a real independent thinker and they're just all willing to be bought. These are already people that were simping in one way or another for the party. If you were a vote blue, no matter who, if you were a content creator that ultimately fell in line behind Hillary, if you were someone who like all of that, then you're their person that they're going to approach. So all of these people were always those people.
Yeah, I think that this is not surprising by any stretch. And so I don't want to, I am not a fan of hers. I don't really have anything positive to say. She's a Nepo baby. She is an overwoke fool in many cases. But you know what? If somebody gets it right, then they deserve to be credited with it. Taylor Lorenz.
Wait, who are you? Oh, I don't know who that is.
Trust, you don't want to know.
All right, I don't know. All right.
But Taylor Lorenz dropped this article last night, and obviously now it's making the rounds. A dark money group is secretly funding high-profile Democratic influencers. So an initiative aimed at boosting Democrats online offers influencers up to $8,000 a month, which means over $100,000 per year. A lot of money. About 100, just a shade under $100,000 a year. Or am I doing the math right? 12 times 8, 96. Yeah. But let's just say 100,000 a year is what they're being paid. That's a lot of money. And that isn't for a lot of time either. Let's keep that in mind. They're getting paid this money, and it's not like this is a full-time job. They get their talking points, they use their platform, they do what they have to do.
They've been doing it anyway.
Maybe. Well, maybe they were doing it just to get noticed, and it worked.
No, I wish why won't anyone pay me to say what I'm saying?
You haven't asked.
Where's my $8,000 a month? Like, it's so frustrating, because it's like, obviously I understand why. I know.
Well, you haven't begged enough. That's your problem. You need to beg a little harder. Get those
it's just so ridiculous. I mean, we know why, obviously, but it's just very frustrating, because for the most part, especially when it comes to someone like Pacman, he was already simping for them for years. Like, this was not new.
No, but he wants money.
I want money.
Yeah, but you go to David Pacman's website and all he does is bash Trump. That's all he does. David Pacman does not talk about the genocide. David Pacman does not talk about anything.
All right, I'll tell you what. I'll take $4,000. I'll keep talking about the genocide, but I'll also shit on Trump. Does that not get me half of the $8,000?
No, because if you're talking against Trump, then if you're talking against Israel in any way, you are talking against capital. You cannot speak out against capital. If there is a common theme amongst all of these morons, and I mean all of them, because I'm going to call them all out, every last one of them, you cannot question capitalism, especially our country's leadership's brand of capitalism, which is oligarchy bordering on fascism. That is exactly the point. You will never see them question those things. Anything that they will say will have everything to do with pumping out the party line and supporting all of the things that we know the Democratic establishment supports, which is essentially the same thing as the Republicans, with a few tweaks here and there. But it's all the same. It all gets back to the same thing. And so in this case, all they had to do was keep it secret and agree to restrictions on their content, which means they had to say what they were saying, and they had to also avoid covering anything that was deemed inappropriate by the, establishment standards. Colin, if you will, please. In a private group chat, are we not able to read this? I am so fucking sick of this shit.
Paywall. Can I talk? Can I answer Rupert? Rupert says, I am not doing well at smashing stereotypes about Jews. Rupert, I've been working for free for 6 years. I'm just throwing it out there that I wouldn't mind getting a payday. That's all. I mean, I don't know that that's necessarily a very stereotypical Jewish thing, but it would be nice.
Pull up the. I sent you the New York Post article. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. You see, the New York Post is not only the oldest running newspaper in the national newspaper. You could get the New York Post all over the country, even though it's a New York newspaper. And it is a conservative paper, but it is the oldest paper in the country, and there is no paywall. See, they care about the people. That's important. So a secret dark money group tied to the Democratic Party. It's called the 1630 Club. 1630.
I wonder what that's about. I wonder what that's about. What's 1630, guys? What's the significance of 1630?
I don't know. Maybe they'll tell us in the article. You never know.
I don't know, but right now there's 227 people watching, and I can't tell you how much I love 227.
Well, 227, 2227. What? Never mind.
No, just 227. It's not about you.
It's about me. It's always about me.
It's not about you. It's about 227.
Well, I can't attest for that, but what I can attest for is that all the things that we assume was true about these Democratic shills is 1,000% true. A secretive dark money group tied to the Democratic Party is paying online influencers up to $8,000 a month to disseminate left-leaning talking points. Again, I wouldn't even call them left-leaning talking points. I know that this is the New York Post writing this, but I would absolutely not under any circumstances call it that.
Well, what are the talking points? Do we know what specific talking points that they're referring to?
Well, so what they're calling this is the Chorus Creator Incubator Program. It said to be funded by the 1630 Fund, a nonprofit sometimes portrayed as the left's answer to the Koch network, and which has funneled money to dozens of Democratic-friendly influencers, according to Wired. Fuck you, Wired. The names attached to the program span some of the most recognizable liberal voices online. They include Olivia Giuliana, the Gen Z activist who spoke at the 2024 Democratic National Convention. And remember, why did she end up getting this speaking position? She was just a regular volunteer / perhaps employee of Gen Z for Change, a group that had offered to help Gen initially. And then Olivia went to task behind the scenes, made sure that Gen Z didn't really do anything. And why is that? Well, the only reason she got noticed is because Ted Cruz decided to go after her for being an obese woman. Well, Teddy, I don't know if you looked in the mirror lately, but
seriously, Ted.
You're pretty rotund, Ted, which is why you decided to grow out that beard and think you look cool. No, it was just to hide how fat your face is.
Okay, and here's the thing. I don't want to do that, right? Like we're not gonna get into the muck with Ted Cruz.
I'm just saying Ted Cruz is who he is.
My problem with this woman has to do with the fact that I question anybody of that generation, your Gen Z generation, right? I question anybody in that generation that was excited about hanging out with Joe Biden. If you are that age and that was something that was exciting to you, there's something wrong there. There's something wrong there. I don't know exactly what, but it's something. That's just weird.
Yeah, no, I agree. Now, I know that you guys can't see who Lauren Pietra, scroll up, Colin, hold on. Lauren Pietra is. She's a former Playboy executive, although she looks like she was probably a Playboy bunny at one time, turned Occupy Democrats YouTuber. Again, this is, let me see if I could even get her picture to, because we don't need to pull it up. We're reading the article.
No, we don't. But this is, Yeah, she looks like a Barbie. So
she looks like somebody that could easily have been doing this with the GOP, but she found a lane to do it with the Democrats. That's pretty much it.
So she's DNC Barbie instead of GOP Barbie. Okay.
Yeah, that's I would say that's correct. And Barrett Adair, the content creator who runs a viral American Girl doll-themed meme account. I can't even. So that's a picture of Olivia Juliana. Yeah, again, I don't care that she's a heavy woman. That is not the point. The point is that she's a corporate shill of the worst kind. She's a shit talker. She's an overwoke idiot who complains about the fact that she's obese and this and that. Like, no one gives a shit if what you're doing is selling corporate bullshit when people are in desperate need of economic populism. All you're doing is figuring out a way to line your pockets. And clearly she was doing a pretty good job at that, because we know for a fact that she was one of the top paid people. And the thing about Juliana, I also want to point out,
she's just, to me, a younger version of, of that other one, Bitcoffer.
Oh, yeah.
She's a new generation of those people. That's all it is.
And for those of you who don't know, because again, I don't want to subject this channel to having to, there are certain political, YouTube clips or just podcaster clips that are not worth putting on. But for those of you who question whether these guys are all in it together, whether they don't talk to each other and are not familiar with each other's work, that are all on the take, Olivia Juliana, Aaron Parnas, Harry Sisson, and that JoJo girl from New Jersey, they all do a podcast together. And they each took turns on their hands and knees for Gavin Newsom about a week ago, including JoJo saying, no one is meeting this moment like Gavin Newsom. Your check's in the mail, JoJo. Don't you worry. Let's keep going, Colin.
Oh, my God.
The program also includes Suzanne Lambert, who styles herself as a Regina George liberal, Ariel Fodor, a teacher with 1.4 million TikTok followers. What does she do in her spare time? Just saying.
Maybe she also has an OnlyFans.
She is a teacher. They're not getting paid well enough. Sander Jennings, the TLC reality star and older brother of...
I know who that is.
I know who Jazz Jennings is. That's a whole big can of worms.
Sander is one of the twins. She's got older brothers that are twins. They're from here. They're from Weston.
And drum roll, please. David Pakman, host of a YouTube show. No, he's host of the David Pakman YouTube show. It's a big deal if you haven't been paying attention. He got to meet the president and shake his hand. That's a big deal.
I have his phone number.
Remember, Pakman, we could take you out anytime. Politically, anyway. Lee McGowan, better known to her audience. Oh, politics girl. Oh, that girl. Yeah. The very extremely privileged blonde who lives in like a wealthy suburb of San Diego, who makes these videos in her kitchen with her pull-up bar in the back. Yeah, because she's fit, politics girl. She has a very successful husband, and she just gets to make videos all day. Hey, listen, don't hate the player, hate the game. If a person is fortunate enough where they don't have to work and they can kind of do this as a hobby, or in this case, their own means of making a living. But let me tell you, to borrow a word from a content creator that we're not fans of, but can at least respect the audience he's cultivated, what Politics Girl does, which is connected to Midas Touch, those screwy scumbags who are also Southern California, it's slop. It's not real. It doesn't help. The only thing it does is point the finger at one part of the problem, which say it's the Republicans or Trump and they're evil and this and that, but you will never catch them saying anything negative about the Democrats, ever. And I mean ever. Also reported to be tied to the program, each of them and many more were brought into communication with Chorus, the nonprofit arm of a for-profit influencer agency, to take part in the program. The 1630 Fund told the Post that it is a fiscal sponsor of Chorus, and that the group receives donations on Chorus's behalf and provides operational and administrative support for Chorus, though it states it is not the original source of financing. I wonder who is the original source of financing. The fiscal sponsorship model is common across philanthropy, and our work with Chorus is in compliance with all the laws. Well, they probably are. Keep scrolling, Colin. In all, Chorus told participants more than 90 influence. Do you know what? I mean, that is some serious money. That's $9 million right there.
And this is the reason that the Democrats cannot get out of their own way. They don't know how to spend their money. They spend it on paying their friends and their consultants, and their party is going down the drain. They could keep doing this until with money every month, and they're still going away.
For anybody I keep seeing it come up in the chat. For anybody who's wondering, will I comment on Nick Fuentes going after Patrick Bet-David on Saturday because that fuckhead decided to interview Netanyahu?
I saw that.
And then freely admitted that his hands are tied financially by Israel.
I'm sure they are. No, we need to. Somebody else had a question here. Asked, explain the no to Bowman. I missed your reasons. I wasn't saying no. I'm just saying I'm not going out of my way to support him. I mean, he's certainly preferable to Richie Torres, but at the end of the day, but not by much. And I would suggest we did. We had Brianna Joy Gray on here. I don't know how long ago that was. It was probably like months ago, and it was following her interview with Jamal Bowman, and watching her. I highly recommend watching her interview with Jamal Bowman. Watch his body language, watch his demeanor, and then ask me why I'm not inspired to support him. That would be why.
That makes sense. The arrangement was cloaked in secrecy. Contracts reviewed by Wired barred creators from publicly acknowledging the program, disclosing the identity of any funder. Because remember, they were questioned about this, saying that you're being paid. And they said, you're all crazy. We don't get talking points. We don't do any of this. And it is now proven beyond any doubt that they are, because they clearly have bank statements. Somebody got a hold of them and proved that that's what this is, that is what's going on. And even if they've been caught, does anybody really think that this is going to change anything? They'll just find another way to do it through a different NGO. There's going to be another plethora of people who are going to come out. The Democratic people are not going to change. Not when the money's available. Money first. Money talks, justice walks. That's how it works. A breach could mean expulsion from the program and the loss of, let's be honest, it says thousands of dollars in monthly income. It's ultimately hundreds of thousands, and in some cases gets all the way up to millions of dollars in compensation, depending on the scope and how many different subset organizations are paying them to do this. Remember, somebody like Pacman has, I don't know what his count is. Pacman's probably somewhere in that 3 million subscriber mark. I mean, you have to imagine that Pacman is probably in that neighborhood of what the Benny Johnsons and Tim Pools are doing. Like, he's getting probably somewhere in that 100,000 a month range. Like, you have to believe it's got to be somewhere in that area.
Well, he apparently wants another $8,000. So there you go.
Oh, remember when he did that fucking video about losing a few patrons? It was the end of the world. A guy with 3 million subscribers makes a video about losing some Patreons. That's a demented person, as far as I'm concerned. He's probably a hoarder too. He's like one of those people who can't throw anything away. One clause reportedly gave Chorus unilateral authority to demand creators take down content produced at its events. Another required influencers to route any dealings with politicians through the organization, effectively turning Chorus into a gatekeeper between Democratic politicians and their online supporters, according to Wired. Man, he should, I tell you, he's got to get his head knocked off. Like, he's so in love with himself. He's so proud of this business he's built. You know, he just feels good. Feels really good. Some balked at the restrictions in a group chat among influencers debating the terms. One pro-abortion creator, again, it's pro-choice. No one's pro-abortion. And this is New York Post writing, so keep that in mind. Parry, Women in America, quipped, I believe we are in stage 5 acceptance. Aaron Parnas, one of the biggest scum suckers of them all. You want to talk about a Zionazi? You want to talk about a pro-Israel Zionazi? Aaron Parnas is as high up on the hog as it gets. And for those who don't know who his father is, his father, Lev Parnas, was in Trump's inner circle for many years. They worked in the GOP. They got paid by the GOP. Lev Parnas went to federal prison, and his son has basically taken over the family business, figured out a way to sucker the Democrats, because you're all a bunch of fucking suckers, because you all just bought into, oh, he's against Trump, so that means he's good. And he just built up this huge audience. Aaron Parnas built a massive following on TikTok. Do you know why? Because he was covering the Ukraine war with Russia and talking about how Ukraine was great and Ukraine's going to win and Russia's going to lose. And
so he's just a So he's been a Dem shill for a long time.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. Big time. A Gen Z news influencer. Well, at least you didn't call him a journalist. Once hailed as the Gen Z Walter Cronkite. Who hailed him as Walter Cronkite? Who did? Who wrote it? Nobody. I want to know who the fuck said that this guy's Walter Cronkite. He gets talking points from the 3-letter agencies. His fucking father is in federal prison. He was in Trump's inner circle for many years. They are as interconnected to the machine as you can possibly be. And they're Zionist scum-sucking fuckheads. So on top of all that, you're saying that this guy's the Gen Z Walter Cronkite? I want to know who said it. AM said it best. He said it himself. It's like a running Don Rickles joke. Yeah, Robert De Niro, great actor. Just ask him. He'll tell you. It's the same thing. Oh, my God.
See, this is one of those moments where I don't need to be here.
Is reported to have told colleagues it was take it or leave it. Ultimately, many signed. The program's secrecy clause was deliberate. It avoids a lot of the public disclosure.
Oops.
On political ads, Graham Wilson, a lawyer for Chorus, said in a Zoom call with creators, according to Wired, your names aren't showing up on the reports filed with the FEC.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, really good.
And there's Maxwell.
Oh, Maxwell. How the mighty have fallen. Refused to come on our show.
I want to talk about him.
Came up to Orlando and lended a hand.
I don't want to talk about that. We're not going to talk about Maxwell.
That omission is exactly what alarms watchdogs. For democracy to thrive, we need transparency around who is paying for political messages. Elizabeth Dubois, a University of Ottawa professor who studies digital politics, told the outlet. Don Heater, head of the Santa Clara University Markula Center for Applied Ethics. Boy, they really just like to come up with these fancy names for you. Yet the money was hard to resist. In addition to the $8,000 a month amplifier tier, some creators were offered smaller stipends, around $250 a month. Well, you got to get your foot in the door somehow. To be part of what Chorus described as a larger incubator, according to Wire. See, we're going to get you started on the ground floor. Make $250 a month, a little bit here and there. Then we're going to boost you up to $1,000. And if you do good, we'll get you to $3,000. And if you're really good, we can get you to $5,000. But the top tier, $8,000 and above, that's for the superstars. Hey, you ain't no superstar. Not yet. But you work on your game. You never know. You might get there. The collective reach, Chorus bragged, in fundraising materials, topped 40 million followers and 100 million weekly views.
Wow. And they think that Russia was the bot problem.
Oh, yeah. Really big. That's
Russia's couple $100,000 or whatever in Facebook ads. That sways an election. But this is just fine. I always thought that most of these types of content creators, they've always, in one way or another, to me, been on the DNC payroll. Now it's just official.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's kind of like what we talked about with the I've Had It ladies in Oklahoma. And they want to claim like they're on the right side and are actually doing a good job and helping out. And yet, remember, jilted lover Chris Cuomo points out that at the top tier at the United Center in Chicago, at a minimum, in order to secure one of those luxury boxes for the DNC convention, you are paying a minimum $250,000. Most people were paid $500,000.
The fact that there are luxury boxes for a political party convention speaks volumes in and of itself. And the way that our whole system operates, like really, the fact that they even have that, it's right up there with super delegates. You just announce we are elitist pieces of shit and we just want to make ourselves richer and our friends richer. And if you want to come with us, great. But that's what we're doing. That's their whole, that's the Democratic Party platform.
Scroll down, Colin, please. Already the cohort that produced collaborative content, a new weekly series, Good News in Politics, featured 6 influencers, including, do you remember Eliza Orleans, the lady who ran in San Francisco? She ran for I think she was running for state attorney, if I remember correctly.
I don't remember. I don't
remember.
I
remember her. Another liberal Zio.
I don't remember her.
Sandra Jennings and the Z activists touting Democratic wins. The creators encourage viewers to follow these creators, bringing you hope instead of doom scrolling. For the Democratic Party, burned by years of failed influencer outreach, the strategy marked a dramatic shift. After the Biden White House froze out critical creators and the Harris campaign alienated others, the party is now mimicking tactics long used by Republicans, who have spent decades cultivating a sprawling conservative media ecosystem. But while right-wing influencers often receive direct funding through PACs or campaigns, Democrats are now accused of using nonprofit intermediaries to obscure the money trail. You know why? Because the Democrats are the sheep, or excuse me, they're the fox. Republicans are the wolf. The Republicans come through the front door.
No, Democrats are sheep. I was with that. I got that. Yeah, I think they are.
The supporters are. But they come in through side doors, what I'm saying.
Oh.
You don't see them coming. They're telling you they're one thing and they're doing something completely different. The 1630 Fund, founded in 2009, is no small player. It poured in $141 million into left-leaning causes during the 2018 midterms, $400 million during the 2020 cycle, and $196 million on ballot initiatives in 2022. Lord knows where that money's coming from. Just 4 donors accounted for nearly 2/3 of its revenue last year. Now, through course, that money is flowing to TikTokers, YouTubers, and Instagram personalities. I would like to know who those top 4 donors are. Maybe list them. Scroll down, please. Not all creators welcome the arrangement. vSphere, a TikTok star with 3.5 million influencers or followers, accused Chorus of using their image in fundraising decks without permission. That's grounds for a lawsuit. That actually is grounds for a lawsuit. Jen? Abagazla? Yeah, I'll go with that.
No, Abagazala.
Abagazala. Abracadabra.
Abagazala.
Kat Abracadabra, a progressive YouTuber, now running for Congress, told Wired that she too was featured on course materials without consent. What we need is investment in independent media, not another middleman. Some Dem creators defended the program, including, of course they did, including Elizabeth Booker Houston and Ali O'Brien, both of whom were reportedly offered high-paying slots at the incubator. Of course they were.
I don't know who they are either, so I don't know who any of these people are, which is, I think, why it's not as entertaining for me to hear these things.
All right, so now I'm going to unload. Now, you want to talk about one of the biggest cocksuckers in this entire fucking scheme?
Yeah, with you.
Keith Edwards, who has been a Nikki Fried shill, who was paid top dollar by her to say disparaging shit against people like Anna Eskamani. That's who this fucker is. That's who he is. He has a big platform. He has a lot of money, and he is a whore, a big fucking whore if there ever was one.
Well, he's not liking this deal. Apparently they didn't offer it to him, so now he doesn't like it.
Yeah, well, of course, because again, they're not getting enough skin. For them, they think they're worth more. So they're going to go out and get more. That's what they do. So while he may say that,
Okay,
he's going to do something completely different. The poster sought comment from the influencers named in the article, as well as from 1630 Fund. Yes, I've received compensation to supplement years of previously unpaid. Well, okay, so that's your excuse. I wasn't paid. That's politics, girl. Emily's List. That tells you all you need to know.
seriously.
The fund supports content creation, sustainability, while maintaining zero ownership, editorial control, or messaging input. They have no approval process, no deliverable requirements, and no review or oversight of what I create. Petra said that the expectation that creators should indefinitely absorb all labor costs without compensation is neither sustainable nor reasonable. When my content is funded by an organization or vetted because of my shared values, you'll see a clear disclosure. Sure. Anything else, Colin? How much more we got?
No.
Spokesman for the 1630 Fund told the Post, Chorus is doing crucial work, of course, to spread a pro-democracy message, pro-corporate message. To Americans, creators work with Chorus have always been encouraged to talk about their involvement in the program. No, they're not. They're sworn to secrecy. They're not allowed to talk about it. The rep said that as a nonprofit, Chorus creators are not paid to support candidates, but they are free to do so on their own time. I can't even read anymore.
I just don't know, other than David Pakman and Jazz Jennings' brother. I don't think I know any of those people.
I mean, I know some of them, but that's not all of them. There's plenty of others out there. Apparently, Brian Tyler Cohen is another one. I'm sure the Midas boys, they're involved in some capacity.
Those to me are just all operatives of the Dem Party. They exist because of the party. That is their response. That was their response to Joe Rogan having Bernie on the show, was creating their own ridiculous stuff.
Texas Grown is absolutely right. You can't.
Texas Grown, I wish you could send me some of your sticky.
There is no real distinction. They pretty much all put out the same shit. That's the difference. And in conclusion.
Are you concluding? Peter's concluding.
It's like the Harry Sisson kid. I was out of electoral politics by their time. Hey, they're in it because it's paying them. Harry Sisson and his partner, I don't remember his name, they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. There was a bank statement that directly showed that they each received a check for $200,000 from the Democratic Party, and they tried to deny that they were being paid by the Democratic Party. Somebody said, oh, no, you are. I'll prove it. And they did. So
it's not surprising.
The party with super delegates is super dead and should stay dead for good. That's what we can hope for.
They are. They're dying.